and welcome to session 6 of our weekly Wednesday Wellbeing. Thank you for joining us again today. If you are watching, please comment. I love hearing from you and knowing how you're doing. Perhaps you can share your highlight of the week as well. This week we're going to be talking about habits, but before we get onto that, I just want to say that despite having a lovely 3-day weekend with VE Day on Friday and my birthday on Sunday, which was very fun despite being in lockdown, filled with lots of lovely surprises and far too much cake. But despite all those wonderful things, I've actually found the last week quite tough. Being in lockdown, not seeing family and friends, and being busier than ever with work, it's definitely taking its toll. I've been expecting the same output from myself and getting frustrated when I can't concentrate or when I'm feeling sad. It's amazing how quickly we can forget all these things that we know so well. So now I'm trying to proactively prioritise my basic needs more, give myself a bit of a break and just be kinder to myself. I also saw a good quote this week, which was, "The one who falls and gets up is so much stronger than the one who never fell." It's normal to hit hurdles and face some difficult days during this time, especially when we're trying to make a positive change in our lives. So don't be disheartened if you aren't staying on top of everything or if you have bad days. Just know that you are growing and becoming so much more resilient. Every day might not be good, but there is definitely something good in every day. It's just important to find the little things. So before we get going, I just want to say hello to a few people who are watching. So firstly, hi to Bridget, who's recently purchased our resources. And she said that the stress ball is doubling up as a bouncing ball for inside the house so she can play catch, which I thought was brilliant. Also hello to Sheena, who's been watching every week, and Helene in South Africa. Hi to Hayley as well. And to Chloe, whose birthday it was yesterday. Happy belated birthday. Also to Ollie in Reading and Matt and Elle in Amsterdam. And then last but not least, I just want to say hello to Khada, who recently ran 100 kilometres in just a few days to raise money for charity. Very impressive, and I hope you've managed to rest since then. So I read a book recently called Atomic Habits, which was recommended to me by a friend, so thank you, Lewis. A lot of what I'll be sharing today comes from the insight I gained from the author James Clear, as well as the article on habits that we recently shared on our website, which was written by psychology student Beth Wilson. So just to start with, I want you to think about how many habits you have. You might need a second to think about that question, because habits are behaviours that we perform automatically with little or no thought. From making a tea or a coffee in the morning to brushing our teeth at night. Our habits subtly guide our daily lives. As a result, you might not realise how much power there is in habits, but if repeated every day, even the smallest actions can accumulate and have a huge effect. So understanding and embracing habits is a great way to take control of our life and achieve more. So how are habits formed? Behaviours that give satisfying consequences tend to be repeated until they become automatic. So habits begin with a cue or a trigger to act. So for example, walking into a dark room cues you to perform an action that will enable sight. Then comes our response or action, flicking the light switch, the final step in the process, and the end goal of every habit is the reward. Here it's the feeling of mild relief and comfort that comes from being able to see your surroundings. So the trigger is the cue that signals us to start the routine. The action is the habit itself, whether it's good or bad, and the reward is the positive feedback that we eventually crave. Every habit is subject to the same process. So if you routinely drink coffee every morning, waking up is your cue, triggering a craving to feel alert. Your response is to drag yourself out of bed and make the coffee, and your reward is feeling alert and ready to face the world. But of course, not all habits are good for us. In these unprecedented times, and whilst being in lockdown, it's extremely easy to fall into the trap of bad habits. For most people, social media can often be a bad habit. Boredom is the cue, and the things that we see are the reward. Unhealthy addictions, bad habits, and excessive use of something can prevent us from accomplishing our goals. It uses valuable time and energy, and it jeopardises our physical and mental health. A few examples of bad habits are things like biting your nails, sleeping in a lot, takeaways, swearing, chocolate. These are all minor habits that when we put our mind to it, can be stopped. If you're comfortable doing so, you're welcome to share some of your good and bad habits in the comments. Building new habits requires hard to miss cues and a plan of action. So I'd just like you to write down one new habit that you'd like to develop, and also one bad habit that you'd like to try and break. And at the top of your piece of paper, then during the session, we can write some ideas on how you can achieve this through the following 5 points we'll go through. So I'll just give you some time now to write down a habit that you'd like to develop and a habit you'd like to break. And I'll just use this opportunity to say hi to those that are watching. Hi to John, watching so I can help my friends break their bad habits. That's really good, John. Hopefully this will help you to reflect on any habits that you have as well. Hi, Mac. I hope that you managed to get rid of the bird that was flying in your home. Hi to Des and Fran. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Khada. Well done again on the 100 kilometres. Hi to Kim and all the family. Hello to Ryan, who's in Kuwait. Oh, that's great, Khada. I'm glad you also read that book. Definitely recommend that for anyone who hasn't read it. It's a really insightful book. Okay, so hopefully you've written down those things now. So the first point is to change your surroundings to encourage better habits. So if you'd like to improve your dietary habits, for example, you can rearrange where your healthier snacks are so that you don't have to make such a conscious decision, and that your cue to eat some fruit as a snack versus crisps is more prominent and obvious. Or learning a new instrument or language. Leave the guitar or dictionary out where you can easily access them. You want to make it as easy as possible to adopt the new habits. And equally, to slowly break habits, we can make things more difficult to do so that we are less likely to do them. Simple changes to our environment can make a big difference. Make your cues as obvious as possible and you'll be more likely to respond to them. Number 2, a great way to strengthen cues is through SMART goals, which we've previously talked about. Most of us tend to be too vague about our intentions. We say, I'm going to eat better or get fitter, and simply hope that will follow through. But a SMART goal introduces a clear plan of action. For example, on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5:30 p.m, when I finish work, the first thing that I'll do is put on my exercise gear and go for a 15-minute run. Then leave your running shoes somewhere that you'll see them. You're giving yourself both a clear plan and an obvious cue, and it may surprise you how much easier this will be to make you actually build a positive running habit. Number 3, we are motivated by the anticipation of reward. So making habits attractive will help us to stick to them. Our brain releases dopamine, a hormone that makes us feel good and when we do enjoyable things. And it's also the same when we simply anticipate those activities. This is the brain's way of encouraging us to actually do things. So in the brain's reward system, desiring something is on par with actually doing something, which helps explain why the anticipation of Christmas might be so great for some. So take a behaviour that you think is important but that you find unappealing and link it to a behaviour that you're drawn to, one that will generate that motivating dopamine hit. If we take exercise as an example again, you might know that you need to exercise more, but you actually get little enjoyment from working out. But perhaps you enjoy watching a TV series. So an idea could be to use an exercise bike whilst watching your TV series and aiming to reach a certain distance by the end of that episode. Soon enough, you may even find those unattractive tasks enjoyable, since you'll be anticipating a pleasing reward whilst carrying them out. Number 4, follow the 2-minute rule. This is a way to make any new activity feel manageable by ensuring whatever the activity, you can do it in 2 minutes. So if you want to read more, don't commit to reading one whole book every week. Instead, make a habit of reading 2 pages every night. You want to run a marathon like Khada did? Commit to simply putting on your running gear every day after work. The 2-minute rule is a way to build easily achievable habits, and those can lead you on to greater things. Once you've pulled on your running shoes, you'll probably head out for the run. Once you've read 2 pages, you'll likely continue. The rule recognises that simply getting started is the first and most important step toward doing something. And finally, number 5, create a framework to keep your habits on track. Using a calendar and crossing off every day that you stick with your chosen habit and your behaviour is highly effective, because habit tracking itself is a satisfying habit. The anticipation and action of crossing off every day will feel good and keep you motivated. And secondly, as we are social creatures and we care about what others think, we can use accountability to our advantage. Simply knowing that someone is checking in with you can be a powerful motivator for success. I've recently downloaded the Strava exercise tracking app for that exact reason. When I'm out running, I know that everyone will see how far I went, and it helps me to not give up and to keep me motivated and just push myself that little bit further, which I always feel better for afterwards. So, hopefully you've jotted down some ways that you can form the new habit that you wrote down earlier, and also been encouraged to think about some ways you can break existing habits. Perhaps spend a bit more time going through this during the week. So the good news, we don't have to reinvent ourselves. Changing our life is about repeating these small actions and building a positive system of habits that, when combined, deliver life-changing results. I just want you to have a look at this and imagine a plane taking off from England to Australia. If during takeoff the pilot decided to adjust course 3.5 degrees to the south, the plane's nose would move just a few feet. Outside of the cockpit, no one on board would probably notice the small movement, but over the course of a journey across the globe, the impact of the change would be considerable. So if you want to make a positive change in your life, you should recognise that change requires patience, as well as confidence that your habits are keeping you on the right path, even if you aren't seeing immediate results. We are now just going to share some coping strategies. So one of the coping strategy suggestions and a new habit you can try is to send an encouraging message to one person every morning, letting them know when you are thinking about them. This small act of kindness and being thoughtful spreads love, positivity and joy. We also encourage you to take 30 minutes to do something you don't normally make time for: reading, cooking, walking, painting, bathing, lots of suggestions. And perhaps you can choose one of them that makes you the most happy to form a new positive habit in your life. And finally, spend a little bit more time unplugged. Perhaps try and spend less than 30 minutes on social media each evening, and use the 5 steps we talked about to try and help you achieve that. I'm just going to check your comments again to see if you shared any thoughts. Shout out to Kuwait. Hi to Fran. Okay, so we're going to do our breathing exercise now. So before we do that, I'd just like you to quickly stand up and just shake out your body to release some tension and to help you clear your mind. I obviously can't tell if you're doing that, so I hope that I wasn't the only one doing it. Okay, so once you've sat back down, and if you feel comfortable doing so, just close your eyes to minimise distraction and to increase your focus on your own body. You are in a safe place. Try not to let any thoughts enter your mind. Just focus on this moment right here. We are going to start by taking 3 breaths in and out, getting slower each time. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, breathe in for 4 seconds, 2, 3, 4. Hold that for 2, 3, 4. And breathe out again, 2, 3, 4. And just relax, 2, 3, 4. And one more slow, deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs with air and holding on to that feeling before we slowly exhale again. Picture the air leaving through your mouth. Now keep breathing at your own pace whilst we relax our bodies even further. We will start with our feet by tensing our toes and focusing all your stress into your feet. Make sure that you are still breathing at a relaxed and comfortable pace. And as you exhale, relax your feet again and wiggle your toes. Now tense your legs, your calves, thighs, buttocks. Squeeze your muscles whilst you take a deep breath in. Imagine all the tension and stress in your body just collecting in that one area. And as you exhale slowly, just relax your legs, your calves, thighs, buttocks, and feel the tension slowly moving down through your body and leaving through your feet. Now focus on your stomach and tensing your core. Take a deep breath in, focus on your lower back and feel that knot in your stomach. And as you exhale, just picture that ball of stress and tension leaving your body. As you inhale again, clench your hands into tight fists And as you exhale, release them and wiggle your fingers. Feel the tension escaping through your fingertips. Now lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Hold that position. And as you breathe out again, relax your shoulders and just allow them to drop to a comfortable position. Allow your jaw to drop a fraction and visualize the tension leaving right out the top of your head. Picture relaxation entering your body and tension leaving your body. Visualize your breath coming into your nostrils, going to your lungs and expanding your chest. Then picture your breath going out the same way and the tension leaving your body as you do so. Your whole body and mind should now feel more relaxed, calm and peaceful. We are slowly going to return to the room by focusing on our feet on the floor. When you're ready, open your eyes again. Welcome back. Just checking the comments again. Thank you, these are great coping strategies. Thank you for sharing that. I'm really glad that you find them helpful. I'd love to hear how you got on next week with them. Okay, so just before we finish the session, remember that none of us have been in this situation before. We're all doing the best that we can. Don't be too hard on yourself. And remember to recognise and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they are. I hope you found this helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, where we'll be looking at planning during this uncertain time. If you do need to speak to anyone, then please just get in touch with us using our social media channels. Thank you again for joining us. Take care and stay safe.